Hey everyone. This is going to be how to make your graph and edit it slightly for your center of pressure experiment. Yeah, let's just dive into it. So to kind of explain what you have here in your Excel or CSV file, which we're going to make an Excel file, is you have your x-axis and your y-axis, and each of these measurements come at every 1/1000th of a second. Okay, so we're to say how many hertz that is. That's 1,000. Um, yeah, and so we're saying again in our sequence of events, that's kind of our 0th or our initial uh, measurement, and then 1/1000th of a second later, the force plates took another measurement. 1/1000th of a second after that, we had another one, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when we chart this, what you're going to end up seeing, because we're going to use a scatter plot, that means that every single 1/1000th of a second that passes, you get this measurement. And there's going to be a dot on our X and Y axis for that. And then that's going to happen again and again and again and again and again, et cetera, and so forth. So what we'll see, because the frequency of the measurements are so quick, is you're going to see something that more or less looks like a continuous path or line of our center of pressure with each of these measurements, right? And again, this has an example one in your pre-lab. So how do we do this? Well, we get to select all of B, we select all of C, we head over to Insert and click. We go over to these recommended charts and graphs. We go to our scatter plots and we choose this, scatter, okay? Okay, voila, here we are. We have our participant's path all outlined here. And again, this is our Y and X axes. You're gonna have to interpret that and tie what was going on here to your observed data collection. Okay. One final note before we kind of wrap up this. Again, you might have to modify or want to modify kind of your um, graph in a couple of different ways to bring it more in line with APA. One of the ways that we can do that right off the bat is this chart title. Now, you might notice over here, we have our red cell highlighted, and that is our title here as well. So a couple of different options here. Fix that pretty easy. We just double click this title area. And again, I don't know if this is the right condition for this group. So you'll have to, that's why I'm leaving it for you to kind of determine that. But we have our 2-foot balance condition. I can move that off. And now we have our more correct title than COPY. Okay. And that's it for generating your graph for this.